Thank you. We're reconvening our triple joint committee with Energy Intergovernmental Affairs, our friends from the Health and Human Services Committee, and our other set of friends from the Committee on Housing on this Thursday, March 19th at 1:05 or so in room 225. This hearing is being streamed live on YouTube. If we have any kind of mishaps, we will post a hearing notice as to when we will reconvene. We ask that we hold testimony to 1 minute. We have one bill on this agenda, that being House Bill 1700 HD1 relating to housing. First on our testifiers list, we have Daintree Bartolus.
Aloha chairs, committee members, my name is Jay Silver, here on behalf of Daintree Bartolus for the Hawaii State Council on Developmental Disabilities. We'll stand our written testimony in support. While we're not going to be your experts on housing in the technical sense, we are, are standing experts for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, and we're always going to support increasing housing for them. Thank you so much.
We have the karaoke audio on today. Anyone from Navy in Hawaii? That's all I have for those who've indicated a desire to testify. Is there anyone else in the room that would like to please come forward?
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, and committee members. My name is Kai Swan. I'm a self-advocate for Oahu. I strongly support HB 700. Housing is a big issue with disability in Hawaii. Not everyone's lucky as I am to have a mom who lets me live with her. She helps support me. Many people with disability are still waiting for housing. Housing projects take a long time because of permits. This bill helps those projects move forward faster. More housing means more independence and more choices for people with disabilities. Everyone deserves the chance to live in the community. Not everyone just like one like me. Please pass HB 1700. Mahalo opportunity to testify. Please don't let me have any questions. Mahalo.
Thank you, Mr. Swan. Is there anyone else wishing to testify? Members, any questions of those who are here? If not, we're going to take a very brief recess prior to taking the vote. Thank you for your patience. We are reconvening our triple joint committee. Subject of our hearing today is HB 1700 HD1. The three chairs have conferred, and we'd like to make two substantive changes to this bill. Appreciate the input from the Aloha Independent Living Hawaii testimony, and in their testimony they suggested, and we would like to adopt, that any kind of expediting permitting is not going to compromise the Americans with Disabilities Act or the Fair Housing Act, and to make sure that we explicitly put that into the language of the bill. Second amendment would be to use this as a model, and we're going to establish reporting requirements during this period to get data, number, type, geographic distribution, and have the ability to evaluate this program as it moves forward. So those are the two suggested amendments to this measure. Any discussion? If not, Senator Chang, I vote yes.
Chair's recommendation for HB 1700 is to pass with amendments. Chair votes yes, Vice Chair votes aye. Senator DeCoit is excused. Senator Richards?
Aye.
Senator Favela is also excused. The recommendation is adopted.
Thank you.
For Health and Human Services, same recommendation. Vice Chair for the vote. Chair votes aye.
Okay, 1700 HD1 recommendation is Senate draft, noting the presence of myself, the chair, and Senator Kanuha. All others excused. Any WR is no. Seeing none, recommendation adopted.
And for the Committee on Housing, the same recommendation for HB 1700 to pass with amendments. Chair votes aye.
HB 1700, Chair's recommendation passed with amendment. Chair votes aye, Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Elefante.
Aye.
Senator Rhodes. Aye. Senator Favela is excused. Chair, recommendation is adopted.
Great. Thank you for the expedited hearing.
Good afternoon and welcome. We are now on the 1:06 PM agenda of the Joint Committees on Housing and Health and Human Services. Our first measure today is going to be HB 1777 HD2 relating to housing, which requires developers developing a housing project under HHFDC to assist certain tenants who are subject to displacement or eviction by the proposed project by granting those tenants the right of first offer of a comparable unit in the housing project, providing replacement housing payments, providing information, either directly or through a contracted service, on how to obtain assistance and exercise the right of first offer, and establishing procedures to track and maintain communication for those tenants, establishes consequences for developers' noncompliance. The first testifier for this measure is HHFDC in support.
From the chairs, vice chairs, he stands on his testimony in support.
Thank you. Office of Hawaiian Affairs in support.
Aloha Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the committees. My name is Kamali Pulole Mitra with the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. The Office of Hawaiian Affairs stands in support of HB 1777 HD2, as it establishes the clear and fair baseline that when public resources are used to support housing development, tenant protection should not be an option. Across the state, we are seeing redevelopment projects move forward using public subsidies and HRS 201H exemptions, but too often those projects result in the displacement of existing residents. While unit counts may increase, the new units are frequently priced at levels that original tenants cannot afford to return to. So this results in truly non-accessible housing. For Native Hawaiians, this impact is especially severe. Displacement can mean losing multi-generational homes, support systems, and connections to communities in place. HB 1777 HD2 helps address this by requiring basic safeguards, like the right of first offer and ensuring tenants have the fair opportunity to return. We can and we should pursue housing production in a way that does not leave communities behind. For these reasons, OHA supports this bill. Mahalo for the opportunity.
Thank you. Our next testifier is Parents and Children Together in support.
Aloha, Trisha Kajimura for Parents and Children Together in support of this measure. PACT, my organization, was started in and founded by residents of public housing. And we worked alongside of some of them who were impacted by the relocation of KPT low-rise units, phase 1 recently. We were painfully aware that it didn't go smoothly for many of them. And we feel that this bill can help in future redevelopment and relocation efforts, as there are, a number that are scheduled to come. And so we can take what has happened with KPT Low Rise Phase 1 and the lessons learned with our clients and hopefully apply that so that it goes more smoothly for the tenants of the future redevelopment projects. Thank you.
Thank you. Number of other organizations in support: ACLU of Hawaii, AARP Hawaii, Hawaii Organization for Progress and Equity, Hawaii Appleseed Center for Law and Economic Justice, Kokua Kalihi Valley, Hawaii Yimby, Hawaii Children's Action Network Speaks, Adult Friends for Youth, Aloha Independent Living Hawaii. Do we have Medical Legal Partnership for Children in Hawaii in support? NIOP Hawaii chapter with comments. Comments also from Avalon Development Company and support from William Caron, Councilmember Kipukai Kuali'i, Don Aileen Willits, Veronica Moore, Diane Matsuura, Rona Manga Yayam, Dylan Pilger, and Mona Baumgars. Is there anyone else wishing to testify on House Bill 1777? If not, members, do we have any questions or comments? Okay, if not, we'll move on to House Bill 1975 HD1 relating to kupuna housing, repeals the sunset for the State Rent Supplement Program for kupuna, appropriates funds to HPHA for the State Rent Supplement Program for kupuna, and for positions to support the program. Our first testifier is HPHA in support. Thank you. Office of Hawaiian Affairs in support. Executive Office on Aging in support. Palehua Townhouses Association in support. Catholic Charities Hawaii in support.
Aloha, Chairs and Vice Chair. I'm Betty Lou Larson with Catholic Charities Hawaii. We strongly support this bill. We have a housing assistance program that counsels seniors about housing, and more, just the seniors can't afford housing. The rents are going up, et cetera. We had a case where a gentleman was able to get this through us and then had a year of surgeries, but he kept his housing because of the Social Security and this housing, this subsidy of $500 a month that made him able to stay there and not become homeless in the middle of all his surgeries. So this is really a needed program, and we support the positions that are in this bill for HPHA so that they can maintain this program on a permanent basis. Thank you very much for listening to this bill.
Thank you. AARP Hawaii in support. Aloha Independent Living Hawaii in support. Leading Age Pacific West in support. Kauai County Council Vice Chair Kipukai Kuali'i in support. Jane Sugimura, Raylene Teno, Johnny May L. Perry, Christine L. Andrews, and Veronica Moore all in support. Is there anyone else wishing to testify on House Bill 1975? Okay, if not, are there any questions? Okay, if not, we'll take a short recess and we'll be back for decision making. All right, welcome back. The Joint Committees on Housing and Health and Human Services are back for decision making. Our first item is HB 1777 relating to housing. Having conferred, Chair's recommendation will be to pass this measure with amendments to insert the contents of SB 2957 SD1, which was the Senate companion to this measure. We'll rename the working group to the Tenant Protection Working Group. And further, will insert the language, the Tenant Protection Working Group shall address tenant protection issues in the state, including but not limited to a proactive plan to protect the tenants of the 14,000 units of temporarily affordable LIHTC housing statewide and prevent the development of more temporarily affordable housing, develop enough housing to meet demand statewide that minimizes tenant displacement, and maximize the efficient use of public funds and public lands. In addition, in the committee report, we'll note the dubious effect of creating two classes of tenants: those who are being relocated for a 201H-38 development, creating workforce housing for local people, often being financed by state taxpayer dollars, who will receive benefits, versus a totally private redevelopment, creating only luxury units for wealthy investors, who will get nothing. We'll further note that the HPHA KPT low-rise redevelopment did in fact provide everything required in this bill, including relocation to a comparable unit, yet the process was far from smooth and the residents still raised a number of issues and concerns as reflected in the testimony to this bill. And finally, we'll note the request for an appropriation of $75,000 for working group expenses. Members, are there any questions or discussion? Okay, if not, for the Committee on Housing, Chair's recommendation for HB 1777 will be to pass with amendments. Chair votes aye.
Members, HB 1777, Chair's recommendations passed with amendments. Any members voting with reservations? Any members voting no? Noting the excusal of Senator Favela, Chair recommendations adopted.
Thank you.
For Health and Human Services, same recommendation, pass with amendments, Vice Chair.
All right, 1777, HD2, recommendations, Senate Draft 1, noting the presence of myself and you and Senator Kanuha. All is excused, any WRs are no. Seeing none, recommendation adopted.
Our second bill today is HB 1975 HD1 relating to Kupuna housing. Having conferred, Chair's recommendation will be to pass this measure with amendments. We'll take SMA's amendment to to address the conflicting number of positions on page 2, line 11, to add in the number for 2 positions, and will further defect the date. Any questions or discussion? Okay, if not, for HB 1975 HD1, Chair's recommendation will be to pass with amendments. Chair votes aye.
Members, HB 1975, Chair's recommendations passed with amendment. Chair votes aye. Any members voting with reservations? Any members voting no? With all others voting aye with the excuse of Senator Favela, recommendations adopted.
Okay.
Same recommendation for HHS. Vice Chair for the vote.
Okay, 1975, House Draft 1, recommendations, Senate Draft 1, noting the excused absences of the members previously, any WRs or no. Seeing none, recommendation adopted.
Thank you very much. There being no further business, this agenda is adjourned.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. We are now on the 107 agenda of deferred decision making on HB 1715 HD1 relating to affordable housing. which authorizes HHFDC to designate certain for-sale units as permanently affordable housing subject to certain restrictions, clarifies that certain resale and occupancy restrictions apply only to projects developed prior to a certain date, amends the definition of qualified resident for the purposes of HHFDC housing development programs. So we've previously already heard this measure, and we'll be making the recommendation today we'll be making a decision today. And so the chair's recommendation will be to pass this measure with amendments. We'll take HHFDC's suggestion to allow ownership of other real property for only 1 year after buying one of these homes and otherwise restore the ban on ownership of another home. That's 5 on pages 4 to 5, and that's from SB 2070 SD1. We'll also make it clear that this program will apply to the majority of project units under HRS 201H-38, replacing existing requirements to have a 10-year buyback restriction, also from SB 2070 SD1. We'll further take the suggested language from the Attorney General and HHFDC to add to subsection C of the bill, and what is now subsection C will be changed to subsection D. The restrictions prescribed in this section shall be automatically extinguished and shall not attach in subsequent transfers of title when a mortgage holder or other party becomes the owner of any permanently affordable unit pursuant to a mortgage foreclosure, foreclosure under power of sale, or a conveyance in lieu of foreclosure after a foreclosure action is commenced. Further, we'll note in the committee report the Mortgage Banker Association's concerns, but also HHFDC's response, that HHFDC's 10-year buyback and shared appreciation restrictions are also secured by restrictive covenants, and this has never created a cloud on title, and the addition of an amendment out of an abundance of caution. Members, do we have any questions or discussion? Okay, if not, again, for HB 1715 HD1, Chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments. Chair votes aye.
Members, HB 1715 HD1, Chair's recommendation is passed with amendments. Chair votes aye. Any members voting with reservations? Any members voting no, without others voting aye with the excuse of Senator Favela? Recommendation is adopted.
Thank you very much. There being no further business, this hearing is adjourned.